The people who never post on social media aren't shy, they're not boring, and they're definitely not missing out. In fact, psychologically, they might be ahead of everyone else, because somewhere between opening the camera and deciding not to share, something important happens in the brain, and most people never notice it. Think about the last time you almost posted something, not the last thing you did post, the one you didn't. That pause, that hesitation, wasn't laziness or indecision. It was a calculation. Will this get likes? Does this make me look successful enough? Is my life interesting enough today to justify being seen? That moment reveals more about your psychology than any post ever could, because it exposes the silent negotiation between your inner life and the audience you didn't ask for but still feel. Sociologist Irvin Goffman said we all wear masks to control how others see us, and social media didn't invent that instinct. It just turned the mask into a permanent performance. One bad caption doesn't fade with time. It doesn't get forgotten. It sits there, searchable, screenshotable, waiting to be judged by people who don't know you and never will. So some people don't quit social media entirely, they quit the performance. Around 30 to 40% of users never post, and researchers call them lurkers, which sounds passive or even suspicious, but it misses the point. Because when judgment, comparison, and pressure combine, the brain does something intelligent. Anxiety goes up, mental energy goes down, so the brain switches from performing to observing. That's not weakness, that's self-protection. Even when you know social media is fake, your brain still compares. Your logic understands curation. Your nervous system doesn't care. It just registers status. It just sees someone else winning while you're standing still. They're ahead, I'm behind. People who stop posting aren't avoiding life. They're avoiding a rigged comparison game where everyone else controls the angles, the lighting, the timing, and the story. Why compete in a system designed to make you feel insufficient no matter how well you're actually doing? Psychologists call it self-determination theory, the idea that humans function best when they feel autonomy, competence, and control over their choices. Social media does the opposite. It quietly trains your confidence to wait for permission. Likes decide if something was good. Comments decide if it mattered. Reactions decide if it was worth sharing. People who don't post are often making a quiet internal decision that says, my worth doesn't need witnesses. They tend to have fewer friends, but deeper ones, fewer conversations, but more honest ones. They don't broadcast their lives in fragments, they live them in full sentences. And interestingly, they notice everything. Shifts in tone, gaps in posting, the difference between joy that's lived and joy that's performed. They're not disconnected, they're attentive. Psychologists talk about two types of self-awareness. Public self-consciousness is when your attention is focused outward, constantly asking how you appear to others. Private self-consciousness is inward, focused on your own thoughts, values, and emotional signals. People who don't post tend to lean toward the second. Instead of asking, how will this look, they ask, how does this feel? That isn't overthinking, that's emotional intelligence. It's the mental space that opens up when you're no longer managing a brand called you. Here's the paradox most people miss. The traits that make people avoid social media, control, reflection, security, are the exact traits social media promises to give: connection, confidence, community. But only if you perform, only if you share, only if you stay visible. The quiet ones didn't reject connection, they rejected the terms. Not posting isn't hiding, it's choosing presence over performance, privacy over applause, depth over noise. It's realizing that some experiences get worse when you turn them into content, that sunsets are more beautiful when you don't frame them, that conversations are more meaningful when you're not thinking about captions, that achievements feel richer when they belong only to you. And nobody reaches the end of their life wishing they'd shared more stories online. They wish they'd lived them more fully, without interruption. The people who never post didn't disappear. They just stepped out of the spotlight and back into their own lives.